Hello and welcome back everybody to the final session of this 100th European Weightlifting Championships in Tirana, Albania. We now have the heaviest men in the continent, the strongest men in the continent, coming out now to decide who is the strongest of them all. Enzo Kworgi in the orange from Netherlands, a good friend of Weightlifting House, and in phenomenal shape right now. The two Albanians you'll see together at the back in their white and grey jackets. Two of the shorter athletes out there on the field. Minasyan, one of the best snatchers of all time. Varazdat Lalayan, an up-and-comer who was able to topple Minasyan at the World Championships most recently. And then, of course, on the right-hand side of your screen, the strongest weightlifter of all time is Lasha Talakhadze. And, of course, many of us, I'm sure, are here to see once again if he's able to make history. Now, I think, let's think this through. The last time we saw three athletes in one competition snatch over 210, it happened in Rio. I believe Gore, Salimi and Talakhadze.
Yes.
Last year at Europeans, two of them did. Gore Minasyan snatched 216 kilos. He joined the ranks of Antonio Krastev, Varazdat Salimi and Lasha Talakhadze as the one of four people to have ever snatched that weight. I think Lalayan snatched 205 back then. I'm sure if we were to go through the annals of weightlifting history, or maybe just rack our brains a little bit harder, I'm sure we'd be able to figure out that there was a competition back in 84 or 87 or something where three athletes may have done it. But honestly, it seems unlikely.
Yeah, the last time that may have happened to have three athletes over 210 would have had to have been in during the Soviet era.
Right.
I would imagine maybe Karlovic, Krastev, possibly Taranenko.
Possibly Taranenko, yeah.
210.
Yeah. So here's an interesting bit of news for you. Minasyan and Varazdat Lalayan are on 170 kilos. Lasha already up at 180.
Wow.
Yeah, surprising. I don't think I've ever seen anybody be at a lighter weight than him. Traditionally, Lasha is the last one out. But, you know, we have to say, Max, I think at this point we have enough people listening. Neither Max nor I think that Lasha is in the kind of shape we've seen him over this last year.
Yeah.
In the training hall, he did snatch 211, which is an enormous weight. But the way he did it, to us, wasn't hugely convincing.
Yeah, he didn't have nearly the energy we've seen at those big 210 plus weights. He looked to be a little bit tentative with his knee. He's doing some squats that didn't look particularly exciting.
No. And then I think the most interesting thing about that is in the clean and jerk, he loaded up 240 kilos. And for the first time in, my career filming Lasha Talakhadze in training or in the back room or in competition, he missed.
Yeah. A
240 kilo clean and jerk. He actually took a step forward after the clean, but he did miss that 240, missed the jerk. He looked over at George Yasinidze, head coach, 2004 Olympic champion, as if to say, not quite sure what I'm doing there.
Yeah.
And then, you know what, he said, enough's enough. And he came back out and he hit 240 and he made it look incredibly light.
Yeah, and additionally, he's down 9 kilograms of body weight, which is very significant. But we'll see. Certainly would not count him out.
No, I'd still, if I were a betting man, I'd still put money on him, but absolutely. I don't think this is going to be the easiest win he's ever had. I think he might actually experience a bit of pressure from the Armenians. Okay, this is where things really heat up. What we're seeing now is we've gone from 7 of the best, strongest weightlifters in the continent to probably the 3 best snatchers in the world in this category.
Yeah.
All of them European. Oh, and as is pretty customary with Minasyan, he takes his opener for a walk.
What a save.
You could see the judges in front of them absolutely terrified for their lives as the 150, what is he, 153.8 kilo Armenian, added to that 202 overhead, came charging towards him. He's ready for a, a rundown.
Wow,
yeah.
Just so solid.
Flawless. We've spoken a lot, Max, about the technique of these Armenian athletes over the course of this championships, regularly mentioning Lalayan as the best technician from the entire team, and no doubt after that, I think
really
our thoughts have
it.
been, that's confirmed for sure. And I think, as always, Max, we've got to give credit to the Georgian team, particularly coach Georgi Asanidze. Out he comes now, all 176 kilos of him.
Not hard.
Not hard, a little bit forward.
Yeah.
Yep, something to be aware of.
But the most interesting part of this is that he's positioned himself in a place where if a 5 kilo jump is taken by Lalayan, that would just tie the 208. So he's pushing these two Armenians to maybe take a little bit more on their seconds, trying to drive them forward a little bit. A much more tactical approach from Lasha than we've seen.
An enormous 8 kilo jump. It's a risky game when you make these sorts of jumps.
Now, right off the floor.
Yeah,
he pulls like that normally, but you need to be just incredibly strong to be that far out of position. Yeah. The bar comes off the ground before he actually starts pushing through his legs. He's almost just lifting that bar into the air with his hips and back, and then bringing into his hips to explode. Obviously, the one man who's capable of that, his snatches are caught so high, and he has so much power, but just not enough there. Wow.
Oh, brilliant. That's just brilliant.
There's a saying. The saying goes, do it perfectly or do whatever it takes.
Well, he didn't do it perfectly, but he did what was needed.
He got it done.
And you can see with Gore, he does roll that bar backwards to the back of the platform. He knows he needs a bit of a runway.
Yeah.
He needs every square inch of that platform to be able to make the lift. And if we were wondering how many athletes were going to snatch 210 or more, it can only be 3, but now I'm sort of wondering how many attempts at 210 kilos or more will be made in the snatch.
Yeah.
There's one. Okay, Varazdat Lalayan, this is enormous. This is equal to his best ever snatch that he did at the World Championships.
Oh, just a little bit short.
Just a little bit short. Arms potentially never quite locked out overhead. Those elbows just ever so slightly bent. And you cannot hold 211 kilos overhead with bent arms. Looks like Lasha is gearing up to come out. 215 kilos he's put in for his opening attempt, for his second attempt, sorry.
Yeah. The Armenians really have nowhere to go from here. He has to take this. Much better attempt.
Everything about that was perfection.
He's got to be a bit frustrated, though. There was clearly more in the tank.
Just snappier. He punched himself under that bar so much nicer as he moves himself into the lead. Now, interestingly, Lasha clearly not feeling 100%. He's dropped himself down to 212. We've never seen Lasha take such a small jump in the snatch between his opener and second attempt, and we've definitely never seen him lift a kilo more than someone else on a second attempt. He's normally many, many kilos ahead.
I'm wondering if this may be his last attempt, if successful. Simply getting the medals.
Oh. Yeah, that was better than his opening attempt.
Absolutely no problem.
Yeah. But you know, sometimes you just need 212 kilos on the bar, Max, in order to get the best out of yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just too light, you know. Lightweights often feel a little bit weird.
I imagine that we'll see 216 then.
Yeah. That would have been my thought. 216, 215. Yeah, I think Minasyan gave him the biggest scare on that opening attempt. Okay, 217 kilos. Varazdat, Salimi, Krastev, Gore have all done 16, but he is the only one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just so
staggering. And we have to just take a moment to appreciate how unbelievable that is. We've been spoiled over the last 5-6 years with Lasha, where if he doesn't snatch 220, we're asking ourselves what went wrong. But at no other point in the history of weightlifting have you been able to sit down at a competition and watch someone do what we've just seen.
Yeah. Watching this, I almost feel bad for Georgios Anidze because he's such a great strategic and tactical coach, but it must be so boring to coach Lasha because he just makes his lifts and wins every time.
Yeah.
So my heart goes out to him. If only it was a little more exciting for you.
It was a little harder, yeah. So I guess, Max, the medal situation right now is probably as expected. I think I would have said Gore Minasyan in third. That's only because of the incredible shape that Lalayan has been in for the last year, essentially.
Yeah.
So Gore Minasyan goes 2 for 3 with a 210 snatch. Varazdat Lalayan 211, equaling his best. And Lasha Talakhadze 3 for 3 with 208, 212, and 217. Behind him is David Litvinov from Israel with 186. Enzo Kworgi hit 183. That's a kilo below Camille Kusera, who hit 184. On the scoreboard, 3 athletes still yet to open. Those are Gore Minasyan, Varazdat Lalayan, and Lasha Talakhadze. The 2 Armenians have put in 240 kilos. Talakhadze at 245. I wonder, Max, how much of a battle between the 2 Armenians is going to be, and how much of it is going to be cooperation, the coaches using each other to provide a little bit of rest in between attempts. Will they compete for the win, or will they help each other out? So both Armenians have hit 220 now, and both not putting on any more weight. They'll be making 20, or in Gore's case, it looks like a 16 kilo jump to their openers. 236 has been put in by Gore, 240 by Lalayan. Lasha currently at 245. Okay, opening attempt now for Gore Minasyan. Gore has clean and jerk 248 kilos before. Goes straight over to the bar. He hit 243 at the World Championships 6 months ago. The 248 came at the European Championships last year. Tremendously strong athlete. And someone brought a vuvuzela or whatever they're called into the stadium. Presumably an Armenian. That was particularly loud. And Gore Minasyan with that classic flat, turned out back foot in the jerk that we so often see from the Armenian team. Now this is where you're going to see just how strong this young man is. He is a good example of when strength and technique collide, as is Lasha.
Easy clean.
Yeah, no, not the most convincing transition between the dip phase of the jerk and the drive.
Yeah.
Looked like he mistimed it slightly and the bar sort of crashed a little bit on top of him. But he's got the strength for it. He got 3 white lights there. Now, very few people have hit this total we're about to see Lasha hit with his opening attempt. If he makes it, he'll be at 462. He's definitely in some pain there, isn't he? And he sort of hobbles away slightly. I don't see anyone outlifting him. There's more in the tank, but he's not going to want to push any heavier, I don't think, than he needs to today. As we mentioned earlier, he missed 240 kilos in training 5 days ago, 6 days ago in the training hall we saw. He then came out, made 2 more attempts at 240. Both of them looked very easy. But I don't know when the last time he would have missed 240 kilos was. Quite a while ago, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it looks like he's working through some things here.
Minasyan now, he approaches the bar like a bull, just goes straight over there. Doesn't mess about with chalking up his hands. Pulls that bar so high. Oh.
Wow. Just did not have the speed in the split.
No,
it wasn't quite there today. You can see his fans in the crowd have a Minasyan vinyl poster, which I'm sure he appreciates.
2 minutes on the clock, please.
And just 5 attempts remain here at this competition. Okay, Minasyan now. Final attempt.
They stuck with 245, didn't give him the extra rest.
When you're as strong as him, maybe you don't need it. It's just about whether he can be fast enough in this jerk.
Yeah.
Maybe he did need the rest.
Just wasn't there today.
No. Yeah, I've seen slower doubles in training from these Armenians, so 2 minutes, not the longest amount of time to try and recover in between attempts. Oh my word.
252, he's going for the lead.
Oh my word, Lalayan is going for the lead. This might be the first time we've seen an athlete potentially be ahead of Lasha after 5 attempts. Certainly we've not seen that since 2017, I wouldn't have thought.
Strong clean.
That's a beautiful clean. Oh, it happened just like it did on his opening attempt. At this time,
eyes are still, he's passed out.
Wow, I don't know if he was with it there.
He was here in spirit only. Wow. That clean was so confidence-inspiring. I thought
he could do it.
With the first jerk, he did the same thing.
He might be able to. He does have 1 more attempt.
That's true.
And it's just so exciting to see, even if only, ever so gently, ever so lightly, to see someone be pushing Lasha.
Yeah.
Of course it happens on a day where Talakhadze is not in his best shape, and Varazdat is in some of the best shape of his life. But just to see, someone poking up at him and saying, can't let off the gas too much because we're here and we want that gold. Very exciting.
Yeah, you can see in that replay, it looked like he didn't actually...
Oh, he's gone there.
Yeah, he left his body. You can see in that replay, he didn't actually breathe until after the bar came back down when he re-racked it.
Right.
I'm wondering if he just held his breath a little bit too much and then that bar cut off his air supply. He's trying it again.
He is gonna take it again, I think. He's just getting a bit of air. Getting some words of encouragement from his coach, from his fellow competitor, and from his other teammates. He actually jerked 270 kilos in training. Yeah, I know. Forgot to mention that. Sorry. So he does have the overhead strength. Another great clean.
Yeah.
Something has happened to him, which means that he's just not got it in him to get that barbell overhead. And you know what? It's specific to this competition because he's not done that before. And the real question is Lasha going to come out? He doesn't actually need to come out now.
Yeah.
He's got 3 gold medals. He won the snatch. He won the clean and jerk on his opener. He's won on the total. He could just leave it there.
Yeah. He doesn't really need to... Doesn't owe anyone any kind of attempt here.
He's coming.
He's
we
still
can see him from our angle. He's coming. Yeah.
Oh,
we've not seen him do that before. Oh, wow.
Wow.
That is really interesting. And you know what? Thank goodness Lalayan didn't make that 252. If you're in George's, if you're in Lasha's Georgian camp, you have to imagine that had he needed it, he might have been able to put a little bit more in, but there's absolutely no guarantee that he would have made that.
Yeah.
The clean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news to people out there, but Lalayan did it better.
Yeah.